Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris. This is Taxonomy Tuesday, where we share our finds from the week and try to help each other out in identifying them and seeing what we have. Uh, we do show and tell style. You can put your name in the chat if you'd like to share from your computer. And if not, we have some emails, or if you haven't sent them in yet, send them to Taxonomy Tuesday and we'll take a look at your stuff. Does anybody have anything they'd like to share from their computer? Go for it, Shihan.
Okay, give me 1 second to find it. Sorry, I normally have multiple screen. Today I only have one screen, so I'm trying to figure out. Okay.
Some state war began. Israel insisted there are no restrictions on aid deliveries, and there is no starvation.
Right, give me 1 second to find my screen. I know I opened a naturalist. Ah. Okay, I want to share first one. How to get this? Okay, so this is one we saw at a foray at Horseshoe Bend. A lot of people took picture of this mushroom. Let me know if you can see it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Oh, this is. I probably need to connect to my other screen. It's just impossible to. Okay, it has milk. Nina tasted it and it's spicy, very hot. That's the top with the ring. The color is kind of brownish, greenish, maybe a little purplish. A cool thing is that it has a snail on top of it.
Wow.
So I took a few pictures of the snail, but we really look at the mushroom. Based on, actually, this one wasn't from Annette. Nina and I looked up book and we decided this is Firemic Lactarius, Lactaria pyrogalus. Anybody has any opinions?
Pictures came out good, even of your friend there. You didn't want to taste it?
I did not taste it, but Nina tasted them, the latex, and she said it's very spicy.
The latex was white.
It was white. And it did not turn color. Maybe a shade of yellow, but it's really stay cream colored.
Juhong, I missed what you're calling this.
Okay, let's go back to the screen. It's Lactarius pyrogalus.
Okay. All right. I don't know as if I've seen this one before, but
Yeah, we look at the book, the color is a little bit off. I
Did we
forgot
save it?
I, I forgot what was in the picture book, the color of but it definitely has the concentric rings.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Okay, I
Pretty
will.
big, pretty big one. How big was it?
It's like let me see. Let's look at the relative to the snail. So it's about like diameter wise, like 3 inches.
3. Okay, yeah, it's pretty good size then.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I've ever seen this one.
Yeah, that's what Nina thought. This is the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only find out one other New Jersey record for it. It's in the NJMA's herbarium.
Mm.
Apparently, it was collected by Victor Gambino in 1978. I don't have any locality information.
I don't believe I've seen this species here in Northeast PA. Looks pretty distinctive.
Yeah.
And I don't know this one. So nice. Well photo documented. Good job.
All right. Let me move on to another one. This one's pretty common, I guess, but it's the first time I really look up what it is. So it's a yellow fungus. I don't know what kind of trunk.
Looks like oak.
Look like oak. Okay. So the photo are all similar. So I have a few. You can see the branch out. And it's pretty small. I kept the styrium as a reference to the size. So Ina tell me it's Calocera cornea.
Yeah, that's it for sure. Such
Yeah.
a great find, so pretty to see.
Yeah, so that's the second one. I will share another one. I will stop. So this one, I see this kind of mushroom often. The top is kind of brownish or coffee colored, and the stem same color. And the gill sometimes have the same stain and always have a lot of what do you call this? I mean, the base has lots of the fiber things.
Mycelium?
Mycelium, yeah. So Ina told me it's Gymnopsis spongiosis. I'm never sure what defines Gymnopsis. So that's why I would like to bring it here. What's the characteristic of a Gymnopus? That's something I wasn't sure.
Well, I'm not sure there are any really good unifying macroscopic characteristics for Gymnopus. The morphology within Gymnopus overlaps with other genera. And so this what is it, spongiosis? I forget the species name here.
Yeah, this is what Annette gave me.
Spongiosis, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that usually is pretty hairy on the bottom.
hairy at the bottom.
Yeah, the bottom, the base of the stipe is usually pretty hairy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Strigos hairy, right?
Yeah, like this doesn't. I've found a few of these sorts of things that I ended up calling either spongiosis, or there's one that's pretty similar called semi-herpes
Yeah,
that
and
comes out earlier in the year, and but they're usually, these kind of perplex me. These ones that aren't very hairy, I mean, maybe if there's been a lot of rain, maybe the hair's got sort of washed off or matted down or something.
Dave, does that gill attachment look right for Gymnopus or Calybiopsis or anything?
Well, it looks a little bit funny, I'd say. It's pretty decurrent. Let me review that. Yeah, that's a good question. I wonder about that.
Well, you said there's a lot of mycelium at the bottom. Was it
Yeah,
actually?
it's a really I did not take a good picture with all the dirt, but it does has a lot of mycelia.
If you zoom out a little bit more, are those hairs or like at the bottom? Zoom out, not in. Like,
Oh.
yeah, like bottom left. No,
Okay.
but see those white? Is that right there? Yeah. What are those?
I think they're mycelium.
Okay. Is that what you guys are talking about? The hairs?
I think they're talking about hairs on the base of the stipe, maybe just
Yeah.
above the
At the
leaf
base,
litter. or the-
this has too much dirt to see, actually.
Yeah.
Let me see if I have a better picture. No.
Okay.
Okay, so I will stop sharing and
Is that just the same photo twice? Were there more photos?
I only took 2 photos
Oh, okay.
in situ. I did take some, brought some to in my basket, but it kind of dry throughout.
Nice. Thank you, Shihan.
All right, thank you.
Would anybody else like to share from their computer? Could check
I
out.
just looked on Mushroom Expert. The gill attachment does seem kind of odd for Gymnopus spongiosus, which Mushroom Expert says attached to nearly free. Now, sometimes when a mushroom gets really stretched out, when it's past maturity, gills that are only thinly attached might get stretched down the top of the stipe. That happens, but this one seems a little bit extreme. So I don't know. I'm not sure I agree with INAT on this one. Could be right though.
Does anybody know if Nina and John were coming tonight? They sent some stuff.
I don't know, Chris. I thought maybe they'd be here since they sent some stuff, but maybe they're coming a little bit later.
Could come,
I spoke to Nina this morning, and she didn't say anything about coming to Taxonomy Tuesday. But we did speak about one mushroom from Horseshoe Bend, and I said just send the pictures to Taxonomy Tuesday. But it wasn't this mushroom. It might have been the other one.
well,
Yeah,
well, look at that.
kind of beaten up. It was in much better shape when we saw this at Horseshoe Bend. It kind of reminded us, or at least me, of a hybrid between Gymnopus and something in the Callistosporium, because the gills were a little bit decurrent, or maybe the cap was more funnel shaped. And to me, it looked more like something, from that colobioid or gymnopioid stature than
Calypsoid.
Calystosporium. It's kind of difficult to make sense of this collection just because it's so far gone.
Yeah, too old to just make any kind of reasonable guess just based on appearance.
But I think they were growing. I mean, they're attached to the leaf litter, and I'm pretty sure that they were growing on the leaves, and that's why I think the combination of that and overall morphology to me reminded me of something in the from the Gymnopus group.
So were those other
one on the
photos
left-
showing like the cap? Is that the same thing? And were those photos taken at the same time?
No, that was a different.
Those are
I think-
different mushrooms.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. So all we have for this is this.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Photo. Yeah, you can't say anything about this.
And there was some
Zoom in on the pores on that possible Lactinia.
Yeah, that this other thing looks pretty interesting. This
oh, that's all it'll give me. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
so what's that? There's like this new genus for relatively new genus for Polyporus craterellus, but now it's oh god, there's a couple of genera that have what are they? Fallax maybe? No, not Fallax. I can't think of it.
Looks like it's got
Does this thing have a foot?
almost. That's what I'm looking at here. But it looks like it tapers back, like like up here.
It looks like a stubby, eccentric foot.
Yeah, stubbier like it looks like on this side than back here.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's a shelf mushroom. You know, it does have a little bit of a like a protuberance, like a whatever pseudus type.
Which I don't think that matches Trametes lactinia. That's what they're proposing here, right?
Yeah,
But those big pores and the color on the cap, that looks pretty Trametes lactinia to me.
Like about this
I kind of hear you talking, Sue, but it's real crackly.
Yeah, the thing I was trying to think of is Brasidolia, but the the surface looks too rough and bumpy for Brasidolia or Is it Brasidola or Brasidolia? Brasidolia. But there's a few species of Brasidolia. It's not just only Craterellus. There's a couple other species.
Either way, it's a pretty one. I'm calling this one Lactinia as well.
As of now, I am in control here in the White House, pending return of the Vice President. Alexander Haig, born in Philadelphia, 1924.
Was the texture really hard, like Trametes?
I didn't touch these, but they were large. I remember seeing these, and
They're large.
they were somewhat flexible, especially at the ends. Yeah,
I
which are
think that's
thinner.
I think that's a good ID. Trametes lactinia.
Mm-hmm. I mean, based on what I'm seeing in in Google.
And some other stuff here.
Those are pretty.
Yeah, this was identified as Hygrocybe caespitosa.
Got the nice caps on the. Got some scaliness.
Is there a photo of the gills?
Nope.
I have a photograph of this collection, but I haven't processed this yet.
Was it found on the ground or on wood? I
Can't
assume
tell, it
from
wasn't mine.
I'm gonna call that ground. Look at this.
Yeah, see the soil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this what is Hygrocybe? Say, what is it? Caespitosa?
Caespitosa, yeah.
Caespitosa. Yeah, it grows like this, and it's got a scaly cap. And it grows in these clusters on the ground. I'm not sure what range of color is to be expected on the cap. I think the
If
one
I'm
time I
remembering
found
these
this,
correctly, this picture isn't doing the amount of yellow really all that justice.
yeah, it would be nice to see the gills, but I mean, I don't have anything to say.
I took a
Say
picture of
this
this.
isn't that species.
I took a picture of the gill. I'm just waiting for it myself to send to my computer that I can share with you.
Yeah, I can share my picture as well, but I have to jump on the other computer because I transferred my pictures there. I don't have it in Chromebook.
Let me
Yeah, I
see.
believe the gills for Hygrocybe for this species should be really strongly decurrent, almost like a Cuphophilus.
And they were.
They
They
were.
were sort
Okay.
of dingy yellow as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds right.
Those are some teeth on this thing.
Huh.
Nice. Yay, hedgehogs.
Nice. Well, I guess that was the top.
pretty red.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever found one of these. Are these a good eating mushroom?
Yeah.
Yeah, most people really like them. I usually scrape the spines off because if you don't scrape them off, then they fall off in the skillet and they coat everything. And to me, it's an undesirable mouthfeel on the finished meal, on the finished product. So I scrape the spines off.
Yeah, but that's where the flavor comes from.
The rest of the mushroom has plenty of flavor, but it's subjective. I mean, I don't like the mouthfeel of the spines, so I scrape them off.
Is it because they get like more done than everything else?
No, they coat everything. So, they're always on your tongue while you're eating. Um,
Yeah, it's like
to me,
you took
it's
some.
not desirable, but that's just my opinion.
No, I started doing that since you said it another time, and I totally agree. It's the way to go personally.
All right. It's
For,
consensus.
for all of them, even young ones, when like maybe those spines will stay more attached when cooking.
Yeah, if they're really on there pretty tightly and they're small, I usually don't
That's
bother.
better.
Okay, cool. So mostly on the kind of more mature ones where, yeah, those spines do fall off when you cook them sometimes. Gotcha.
Yeah,
That's
they're really
I brought
long.
it up because this one looks that way. This one looks like
Right.
the spines are pretty long and they would fall off.
Yeah, these for sure. Cool.
Yeah, I found a couple though this week that you could barely see the spines. So, right, those I wouldn't bother with.
I don't. Does anybody have a species name for this? I don't know these. Some of these summer ones, these orangish ones.
Or
It
calling
used to
it
be that they were all
rufescens.
tandem, but I don't think that's necessarily true anymore.
It's being called rufescens.
Rufescens, right? That's one of the names. Yep. Now that one stains brown, I believe. That's where the rufescens comes from.
Mm. Yeah, there's I think quite a lot of species of those. I mean, I've seen so much variety in those. It's fun to see all the variety.
Would you like to go here, Brandon? You
Yeah.
sent you sent violet gray.
Yeah, I sent an email because I'm on my phone. Um, I've just never really found violet tinctus, or at least been confident in IDing it. But I think this one's pretty textbook. I was just kind of hoping uh, for confirmation or opinion on a different species. I don't think it's the what's the brown one?
Yeah, this
Rupert.
is not Rubrunius.
Right. And
Note
I don't.
the color of the pore surface, how it kind of blends in with the overall color scheme of the mushroom.
Yeah, it's kind of unicolor, right?
Yeah,
Concolorous.
kind of a lavender, like a diluted lavender color. Yeah,
Mhm.
tinged with violet.
And then this is when I got it home. I just kind of realized I didn't take a photo of the cap, and it was more lilac when it was fresh. This was after a couple hours, but it still has a little bit of that.
Yeah, the fade away. When I was at Brandon Burn State Forest maybe a week ago, there were tons of them everywhere, and they were exactly like that. They have muted colors, sort of not entirely brown, not entirely violet, kind of in the middle.
Yeah, not super. I can't mistake it for the color of Viola Plumbeo violaceus. Right?
Right, but that one has a white pore surface from the get-go. So
Yeah, and then this is just that same cut 2 photos ago. The first one was in the field, and then this one was a couple hours later. See, it got pretty dark brown.
yeah, it has a
That's
wonderful bitter taste. I'm sure you
that's
tasted it.
interesting there. Is that a a thing? Is it like a bit decurrent or something there?
I think it's just pulling away from the stipe apex a little bit, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, these are. I'm still trying to figure out whether they are the same species that we find in the purely hardwood um, forests of upland New Jersey, like northern New Jersey, like meadowwoods or whatnot. Because to me, I think these are probably associated with the pine in the pine barrens, not with the oak trees. But it's not easy to tell because often you have mixtures of both trees present in the
Well,
vicinity.
I can tell you because I found a bunch of these the day that I was collecting a textbook Pine Barrens location, and we were finding a bunch of them, and not a lot of hardwoods to speak of. They were kind of notable when you would see one. So I think this was associating with a pitch pine, almost
Yep.
certainly.
That's my observation from. I mean, I see these at Brandon Burn all the time. I don't think I saw them anywhere else in the Pine Barrens. So, and I tried to sequence two different collections with nanopore sequencing, and they both failed. Not because the mushrooms are bad, because the science is not good.
Yeah, it's something about Tylopolis they haven't figured out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it works fine with Sanger, but whatever primers they use for sequencing with nanopore sequencing, it just doesn't blend well with Telopolis and some of the other Boletaceae too. But particularly this genus is notorious for failures with nanopore sequencing. So I'm still sort of waiting to get any kind of sequence, and I don't think there's anything in GenBank. Maybe there is. I haven't checked in a while, but I'm just curious to see when I finally get the sequence, is it going to match anything in GenBank? You tried to taste it, right?
Yeah.
So it was bitter, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Not like you know, I don't find Tylopolis phallius all the time to be, you know, spit it out disgusting bitter, like a hint of bitterness.
Yeah, I find most of these just extremely bitter, especially Rubra brunnes.
I don't think I've ever found.
Yeah, I think Plumbeo violaceus is the most bitter one.
Yeah, that one too.
Yeah, but sometimes Phallius is not extremely bitter. I kind of agree with that. And
yeah,
I
maybe
don't
you're right,
find,
Dave. Maybe Plumbeo vivacious is like the most bitter one amongst all those.
yeah, I think
different
to me it
species.
is. And there's Viola tinctus, which I don't find very often. And the times I believe I have found it, and as you say, Igor, it kind of lacks distinctive traits. So you kind of say like, well, I guess it's Viola tinctus. But the times I think I found it, it was in the presence of pines.
Yeah, I mean, we find this at Meadowwoods often enough, and I have observations of it from there. And when you find, them in a fresh state, it just screams at you violet tinctus, because everything is uniformly violet tinged. The cap, the tubes, and the stipe. There's no brown in there, or white. So you know already that it cannot be Plumbeo vivacious, it cannot be Rubra brunnes. But when they fade, it becomes more ambiguous.
Oh, well, thank you. I wanted to share one that I had an idea, kind of had a beat on first before we get into this thing that is kind of
Brown,
say it again.
brown.
Red. Maybe the color gets washed out a little bit. When I found it, I was like, oh, it's a Cornarius, right? It's maybe marylandensis, but some kind of dermosopy, maybe sanguinolenta. If you could zoom in on the stipe here a little bit, it does have a bit of a gymnopus clibioid type feel to it, but it is smooth. Maybe a little bit of ornamentation up toward the top. But then once we look at this next shot, the gills, it's not.
Mm.
Yeah, they're just not red enough to be marylandensis or sanguinolenta, semi-sanguineous, whatever it is. So I think this is maybe some kind of Mycena. You'll note that the gills aren't tight. They're pretty wide gills also. And then I
Are
have
they as
some.
thick as they appear, or are they just leaned a little bit weird?
No, they're as thick as they appear. And if you could maybe zoom in on one of those gills at the 12 o'clock, yeah, right up in that area. They're not. It's like they have that. They're not quite marginate. I never know what that term is, where it's like there's a little slit in between one gill.
Oh, this.
Yep.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, Brandon, you said a slit between two gills or one gill? What do you mean by
Yeah.
that?
So like the end of the gill sometimes,
Oh,
there's like
As an
a trough.
indentation.
Yeah, indentation.
Where at the stipe?
no, at the margin,
Gill.
Yeah, the edge of the
right
gill.
where the mouse is right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I get, it's still kind of small. Yeah, if you
The
can
one
zoom
at
in.
10 o'clock is maybe more visible along the whole length. That's not called marginate, I don't believe. I
I
don't know.
don't think so. No, that's probably the wrong term.
I would
Yeah.
think marginate was like the that picture of the chlorophyllum I took.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah, that's
dark
why.
band on the gill edge.
Right, that's why I was saying it's not marginate.
Yeah,
Um,
this is
the
something
ones
else.
on the ones on the edge at the 6 o'clock, you can actually probably make
Yeah.
that out a little bit better.
Is it like a gill slit?
You mean like it's thick and there's like an indentation, like a ravine inside, kind of, like a little
Yeah,
sharp
like a
gully?
ravine.
Correct. Yes.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen those things. But I see it in the pictures, and I see now what you're talking about.
When I did some micro on it. Right now, Mycena is some kind of mycenoid thing. Um, they were quite small. And the two that are in blue, you're going to want to blow those up so you can see them.
Do you have melters?
I do. Yep.
Well, I believe all the true Mycenas have amyloid spores.
Yeah, but so do a lot of things that.
So do some things that look like Mycena. How about callistosporium? That purple one.
Purpureo marginatum, right?
Yeah.
I thought about that, but this was terrestrial, wasn't on wood.
Oh, okay.
But that's not a bad idea. I definitely considered that. I should compare spores to callistosporium, maybe. But yeah, those spores. Do I have dimensions there? They do. You can see the apiculus on them.
That's a pretty good one there. Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
And the overall shape kind of looks more, like it looks like a Mycena spore in my opinion. Didn't find many. Well, I did find cystidia, but they were quite high line. This is kind of like a throwaway picture. I thought this might be a broom cell down toward the bottom there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that might be a broom cell, but I think it's just a floating mass of basidioles and maybe one mature basidium in there. But yeah,
What's a
not
broom
much.
cell?
Broom cells are cystidia that some Mycena have, many Mycena have, that the apex of that cystidium looks like a broom, kind of has these finger-like projections. Um,
Cool.
yeah,
Something you could mistake for like a basidia or something.
honestly, I don't think I've ever actually found a broom cell. I've looked for them before, but I don't know if I've ever actually documented one. And then this photo, um, so you see right that highlighted blue spore that you can make out? Yeah, right there. That is sitting on top of a hyaline cystidium. It's really hard to make out. It didn't take up any of the blue, but I don't know. Can you guys see that kind of subcapitate thing? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you got
Yep. The outline of it. Yep.
yeah. Which I don't know what that means, but it's another piece of information I can add to it. So
Looks like a ghost.
yeah, it's a ghost. You see a lot of these ghosts floating in there. They're really hard to not only see, but taking a picture of them. Yeah. So yeah, my best thought right now is Mycena, something closely related. Callistosporium, I'll definitely look at that a little closer. Um, but yeah, I don't know.
I always want to
It's
call
funny, you
those
could even
like
see it there.
Licuria, but
Yeah,
That gill's gotta be that's gotta be something.
hmm yeah, you can see it.
Somebody's gotta
Yeah,
say, in the description that somebody has, that's
well,
gotta be in there.
so there's this thing like Mycena, what is it, Alkinsoniana, has something similar to it, and is not dissimilar from this thing. It's got a little bit of color to the cap. Um, I think it's Atkinsoniana. And then after kind of looking at the spores and seeing, oh, those look like Mycena spores, I'm also considering Mycena. What's the ground bleeding one? Not hematopsis. Is it another sanguinolenta or something like that?
Yeah, I don't think that's what this is.
Yeah, me either. But do you know Atkinsoniana at all, Dave?
Yes, it has strongly marginate gills. The gill edges are like deep purplish red.
Okay.
I'm pretty
All right.
sure. I'm pretty sure. It's pretty distinctive, and I think the cap is more or less whitish, with
Yeah,
like maybe
and has-
red streaks or something.
Yeah, kind of more striate, less, or at least the cap flesh is pretty thin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me look it up.
All right,
Are
cool.
you out there walking the power lines?
Where? Kind of, yeah.
I know that area.
And this thing, some kind of destroyed angel.
Oh, you just got super quiet, Brandon.
Hear me?
A little bit.
Jaws taught everyone that this, as you know.
Well,
The photos on of Atkinsoniana on Myco Quebec do not they don't look a whole lot different than what you have here, Brandon. The gills though are very strongly marginate.
Oh, really? Did we lose him?
I'm still here. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So this thing, section Phalloideae, right? At the very least, this vulva is pretty distinctive, though. If you want to go to the next photo, the one with the
Hello?
Pretty.
Can you guys not hear me?
Well,
You
you're
went
Yeah, I
out.
can hear you. Just don't know what to say about this.
Oh, I keep talking about the bulb. Did you hear me talking about the bulb at all?
No.
Oh, not all of it. No.
you're
Oh,
cutting
yeah.
in and out, sort of.
All right. So, yeah, section Phalloideae, I believe, at the very least, the destroying angel with a really interesting bulb. Am I in the right ballpark there?
Why is the bulb interesting?
I don't know. It's very saccate.
That's pretty typical for a lot of them, I would say.
Yeah,
Is there actually a bulb there?
yeah, you can see inside it sort of expands. So this is a very limbate, pseudocycate vulva, which is typical of Phalloideae. And was the disc of the cap kind of pinkish orange?
I didn't see much of that. It might have had a little bit of a yellow color to it.
Yeah, we found two species in there. We certainly have Ameriverosa in the Pine Barrens, and that tends to be a larger, robust species. This one, which is smaller, reminds me of Helmettensis.
Helmettensis, okay. Yeah, okay.
Formerly species 05, I think, in Ratalis parvans. But according to Rod, Helmettensis maybe shows up later in the year, like late summer, early fall. But it could be occurring earlier in the season as well. If Rod's website were functional, you probably would have checked all the facts, but it's not.
Yeah.
Based on the pigmentation, this is in a very fresh state. So maybe the pigmentation is paler. I don't know. Maybe it's kind of tough to say whether it gets darker in age or the other way around.
Yeah.
But the small size to me, it suggests could be helmettensis.
There might be some helmettensis observations on MO that at least you can compare.
Right. I don't know if there are any observations with sequences attached to them, but it's worth checking because you won't find a ton of these observations. So if you check them individually, maybe you'll be lucky. And it's going to be a sequence.
Can you check the spelling on that for Lila in the chat? Because I was just gonna ask, can someone put it in the chat, the spelling?
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna put the
Great.
spelling.
okay. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, it's after the Helmeta Pond Park, which we actually visited.
Oh, yeah.
On the 19th of July, we had a foray at Thompson Park, and half of the group went to Helmeta, which is only like 5 miles north.
Okay, good.
Yeah, this is like the northernmost part of the Pine Barrens, and it's also, what's the word? It's isolated. It's not attached to the greater Pine Barrens region. There's a word that describes that. It's like non-contiguous or something.
Disjunct outlier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you.
I was able to bring this up on tollabs.com, which is the RADS site, Amanita, by searching the name, it went to the entry.
I've had that happen a couple times where I just Google the name of an Amanita and it'll take me to that date, but
Oh.
you can't go to the page to search it.
Okay, I put that page in the chat.
Yeah, I've been noticing that too. Sometimes I'll search a name of an Amanita, and a result comes up that's a page from eminentaceae.org, and it'll show that just that one page. But if I try to go to eminentaceae.org, I just get a message saying it's not available.
Right, that's good, we can get something, that's nice.
Maybe Tulus Labs, because I'm getting that hit on Google as well, and this is new to me because it just looks like amanitaceae.org. It has the same architecture as that defunct website. So maybe Rod just got a new domain name and transferred, the contents from amanitaceae.org.
It still says not secure though, unfortunately. Yeah,
Yes.
but yeah, I noticed that, like, right, Toll Labs, right.
Oh, okay.
And we were trying that a while ago, but remember, that's when Jason said it was looking for some inputs, and yeah, I don't know. It works sometimes and it doesn't work other times.
Oh yeah, I see Hunt already posted the link to helmettensis. I just duplicated that. I didn't see that. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, let's I'll breeze through this one. We should appreciate it. I think this is one of my favorite mushrooms. I think it's absolutely gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
This is in situ, not the greatest photo, but you can make out that depression on the cap and the yellow stipe. And then once we get to the next two, you can make out a few details. Yeah, the gills and the kind of decurrent, more or less, gill attachment is
That is
not.
pretty.
Yeah, it's just really handsome mushroom, I think.
Yeah, you don't expect the gills to have the Entoloma color underneath when you flip it. It's like, oh, yeah.
And then the margin, yeah, that's how you lock it in. You're on it. You're kind of already locking in. If you zoom in, you can make out the striation, pale margin as it approaches the margin.
That's a pretty one. That's about as flower of a mushroom as you get.
Yep. That's what I shared.
Brandon, do you find these in moss?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I find them every time I
Oh,
found
there
them.
we are in the moss. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you can see it.
Well, every time I've ever found them, they've been around hardwoods in an Atlantic white cedar swamp. So, like, a couple rogue maples floating around, and that's exactly where this thing was found.
Yeah, I find them usually in moss. There's a spot alongside a creek that's mossy. Mixed trees, no cedar though. Yeah, they're
Yeah, I
really
think
nice looking.
I think that finding them with cedar is just a product of me liking to spend time in AWC swamps. So
Yeah, I think all or most of the entelomas are thought to be saprobic, so it's likely they might show up, in a variety of different kinds of forests.
all right, cool. And then I think maybe two. Do I have two mysteries left? Oh yeah, this thing. So this is on Atlantic white cedar. I'm pretty sure. An Atlantic white cedar log, which in and of itself is kind of a unique place to find a gill mushroom, let alone something that even in the field, I was like, I think this is a veiled Entoloma. Yeah, can you zoom in on the veil, please?
Wow, is that really a veil? Oh, look at
I
that.
Look at that.
I
Oh.
think so, right?
That is cool.
It's even got the color from the little bit of fall.
Right. Yeah. This thing, I keep thinking about this thing randomly. Like, what the heck is it? Um, and then I think the next photo probably shows just me double checking, like, is that really a veil? Yeah, it is a veil. Because it's going right to the edge of the cap there.
Yeah, or a cortina, but it's
Yeah. Yeah, more.
it's like in between.
Yeah, it's a wispy veil. I mean, a cortina is also kind of a wispy veil.
That's a thing right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's an Entoloma spore.
Oh wow, there you go.
Yeah, definitely Entoloma spores. I was going to say maybe it's some sort of strange looking inocybe, but those are Entoloma spores.
And they were pink. It was a pink spore print.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
So I was thinking before in the field, I was like, because I saw the pink deposit on that veil, and I was like, maybe it's a Pluteus, but the gill attachment was wrong for that. So I don't know. This is kind of a mystery to me.
Yeah. Does the cap have scales like concentrated on the middle?
Yeah. I didn't get a good photo of it, but
Yeah,
yes,
it reminds me a little bit of Entoloma formosa.
me too. Yeah. I found Formosa this same day.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, I've never read a description of any Entoloma that has a
No,
fleeting.
that's very strange. The only thing I would think, just trying to brainstorm here, is a spider may have built a web underneath it.
Yep. So I found this thing. Jason was there, and I was trying to poke holes in. Maybe it's a spider web. I found another Entoloma, and I was like, "Look, there's a spider web on this thing," and he was like, "Yeah, that's obviously a spider web on it, though." um,
Yeah, I mean, this one you
so
don't see individual strands. I mean, if that's a spider web, that spider is stringing that web so close together. I mean, that looks like a
Yeah.
continuous membrane.
Just the way it's attached here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other part of that, I didn't get a good photo. Maybe the other photo of the veil. because I checked the backside too to see if that wrapped all the way around. And yeah, you can kind of see that it does on the same level, you know? So I don't know. This one's a mystery for sure. But I mean, it's something in Entelomaceae. Those spores are not spores that you can really confuse with any other family, um, especially with the pink coloration. So
Pretty neat.
yeah, if anyone over the next couple months comes across any kind of veiled Entoloma description, please let me know.
Man, that is a very mushroomy mushroom as well.
And on cedar, which might
I
account,
agree that that's cedar as well.
which
Oh,
might just be a product of like, okay, it's not really growing on the cedar. It's just kind of
that
that.
cedar looks like it's one with the forest floor.
Right. It's just so broken down that it's not necessarily growing on the cedar, but with debris that's kind of on this decaying cedar. But regardless, it's two kind of uncommon things to find with an Entoloma. One, it's growing on wood. Two, anything growing on cedar is interesting. And then this thing's got a veil. So yeah, I don't know.
That's a
But
super cool find.
yeah, I thought so too. Thank you. And is that it for me? That was the last one, right?
I think that's it.
All right, cool. Wait, did I send in a Bayospora? No.
Hmm?
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Hunter, you want to go?
Sure. Yeah. These pictures are from northern Wisconsin and like in between northern Illinois and northern Wisconsin. So this is Asterophora lycoperdoides or Asterophora parasitica. I'm not positive which one. One of them gets powdery on the top, so that is, I think, this one. And so I think that I'm not sure which one does that, but these are growing in a Russula cap, a decayed Russula cap. So it's pretty neat. It's I guess a microtroph or a mushroom growing on another mushroom or the decaying remains of another mushroom. And that's always fun to see. And there were many of these. And
How big is this? Uh,
the cap's quite large. It's probably like Russula breviipes or something that's probably 5 or 6 inches across.
that is so cool.
Yeah,
Did
and
you
yeah.
did you flip any of the parasitic ones?
No, I didn't even. One I touched. The thing is, the Russulas are so gross by
Oh
the
yeah.
time these are growing on them that you just don't really want to touch it at all. So no, I didn't. I mean, I
I
did. Go ahead.
I only know of lycoperdoides. I'm not familiar with the other species that you mentioned. But I do know scoping the spores on these things is super cool. And also lycoperoides is described having these really cool pseudo gills. So this kind of
I should
illusion,
get into
like
those.
illusion of gills.
Uh-huh. Okay. And are the spores star shaped?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because
Astrospora. But again, I wasn't familiar with the second species. I only know of lycoperoides.
Parasitica is another one, and like I said, the only difference is one gets like powdery on the cap and the other doesn't. But I think I forget which is which, so. But yeah, I had only been familiar with the Asterophora, lycoperdoides, and I have pictures of similar mushrooms in the file that are all white though. And that was sort of the difference in a lot of the ones I saw. The white caps had turned this brown, and I think it's probably powdery. So I don't know, but I just got home literally, so I just haven't really had time to do a lot of research, but yeah, so
And we have this around us, Brandon?
I think it's
Oh,
pretty
sorry.
widespread.
I've only ever found it in Michigan, but I think Dave's found it in PA.
Yeah, I think lycoperdoides, is that the way you say it? I think that's probably the name that I used. But it's been a while since I've seen any of these, probably 5 years.
Lila has confirmed that it is lycoperoides that gets the brown powder on the top. So that's what this is.
Man, this is in my wish list now.
These are fun to see. That I had only really seen it once or twice, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and this now there's a ton up there. So this is Spathularia, and I'm gonna call it Spathularia. What am I gonna call it?
Velutipes?
Yes. Although I had found a similar looking one, I don't know if you guys remember, and Stephen from Indiana, I can't even think of his name right now. He sequenced it and was calling it Spathularia rufa. But I do think this specimen this year here is velutipes. Yes, I agree. Yeah, and I love these. They're so interesting, so cool. And I think I found flavida too, and I sent a picture of that as well. I'm not sure if it's next though. Yep. Yeah, so this kind of lacks that dark brown, but I'm not positive, but I think this is Spathularia flavida.
Those are cool.
Yeah, the first time I saw these a couple of years ago, I was just like, oh my gosh, that is the coolest thing. And
They look either like fuzzy or porous. I can't.
neither really. I mean, they're more waxy and smooth, I would describe them as.
Like a super matte finish.
Maybe a little bit velvety.
Maybe.
That is super cool.
Yeah, let's see what it says in the description. I'm gonna look.
Good. I didn't collect these. The one time I did, obviously, because it was sequenced, but so I'm kind of going by memory on that. They do look a little velvety. It may be the quality of my picture. It was very wet. It almost looks like it might have some something growing on it, one of those, unless those were like spores coming off of it, farther to the right.
Hmm.
Like this one in the middle on the right, not that one, but one more over the edge there.
Oh, I think that might be something behind it.
Okay,
This leaf.
okay. Yeah, probably. Yeah,
You're right, that's cool.
yeah. What are you seeing, Dave? Any description of texture?
Oh, I muted myself. No, Michael Quebec says covered with a film.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But this is translated, from the French. So
True.
who knows what film was originally. And that seems a little strange, film. I'm
Yeah.
trying to find on looks like Mushroom Expert doesn't have velutipes.
Right. Yeah, but nor Rufa, I don't think either source has Rufa, I don't think. But that's what Stephen named it. You know what I'm talking about. This is Lentinella cochleatus. And I've seen it before years ago, and I knew right away, oh, I've seen this before years ago. And the next picture will show the gills. And I think it's a pretty cool mushroom. It grows kind of in a caespitosa fashion, and the gills are decurrent, and they're very long, and maybe we can zoom in a little more on it. Yeah. But I'm certain that's what this is, and it's a very, like, I mean, I saw it this time, and I saw it probably about 10 years ago, and I don't see it much. I don't think it's very common. Do you guys see it?
Once every few years, cochleatus, right? Yeah. Yeah, every few years.
Yeah, and I guess it smells like anise, but it tastes bad and is considered non-edible.
It's pretty distinctive. When you find it, it sort
Yeah.
of sticks out, like, wow, what's this weird thing? And then once you
Yes.
figure out what it is, it's like, oh, okay.
And it grows
That's what
on
it
very
is.
decayed wood, but when I found it, I mean, it looks pretty terrestrial. I mean, this one was hugging up against that tree, but they don't like really grow from, it's very decayed wood. Like it's, I don't know, not.
I think that's pretty much where I found it, is like up against decayed wood, where the wood meets the ground, kind of.
Okay.
We've found it several times in Stokes, and of course the gills are serrated. I don't know if you.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah, because it's a lentinus, right? Or a lentinellus.
Yep.
Yeah, and let's look for that. Oh yeah, look at that. Good. Thank you for saying that. Yeah.
Is it lentinus or lentinellus? I forget.
I think it's Lentinellus, I thought. I don't know.
Lentinus?
No.
Lentinellus.
Lentinellus.
Yeah, Lentinellus.
Lentinellus. Okay.
Just love the way they're nested together like that.
Yeah. Yep. And their eyes like that, and then the stems are like really wrinkly at the bottom, kind of. Yeah. It's also kind of interesting. Lentinellus, I like to say. Okay, Lentinellus, that's what I say, but I don't know. So, I'm not sure on this one. I want to say it's I am wanting to call it Suillus discipens, but I may be wrong. I think it's a Suillus. It looks very similar to Americanus on the top, but it's not. And I mean, it's very different from that in several ways. It's not really that slimy. The gills are so pinkish. I mean, the pores, and yeah, I don't know.
Is this where you picked those two out of?
No, I mean, I don't think so, but perhaps. I think something bit at her. I don't know. I don't think so.
Because this one looks like it's like wrapping the.
Yeah, maybe I did. Because yeah, it's doing that same kind of thing, right? Yeah. That's a good question. This was early this morning, and it was pretty dark still. I I don't know.
Any conifers around?
Oh,
No, this was mostly beech, I mean not beech, birch, oak. Um there was some like
Okay. I think I know what this could be.
what do you
Dave,
So
think?
this
Dave probably
is it
knows too.
Suillus subaureus, maybe?
Yep.
Cool. I don't know that one at all.
Yeah, look at the
It's a
cap.
hardwood Suillus.
Yeah, but it can also grow with hemlock.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
No
a little more
hemlock
ambivalent.
here. Yeah.
But yeah, look at the cap surface. If you zoom in, I think this is the hallmark of Sabarius.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of a paler version of Weaveray, kind of.
Yeah, it's yellow with splashes of kind of pinkish or reddish. In some
Yeah,
ways, it resembles Americanus.
that
Um,
that also.
I
Yeah,
yeah,
think so.
but
Yeah.
it does
But it
have the
isn't.
ring,
It's clearly not.
and the
Yeah.
pore
yeah, and it
surface
has
is
that. The pore surface stays sort of like pink for a while.
golden yellow, deep golden yellow. I think often, my collections. I don't find this very often, and I always
Okay,
sort
I
of,
see what you're saying. Yeah,
yeah,
I see kind of pink there, but I see what you're saying, golden yellow.
yeah. So that's I think that's what it is. For a moment, I thought maybe it's Hortellus, but Hortellus only grows with the pines. That's why I asked the question. Did you see any pine trees?
Yeah, no, not at this site. And I agree though that the tone was more pinkish, but the lighting might have made it so too. But thank you. I think it must be that, and I'm really glad to get that species on my radar.
Well,
Um,
Hunter, what are you taking these photos with?
iPhone.
Yeah,
Jeez,
I
these
found.
iPhones are putting my camera to shame.
Yeah,
These
Yeah, but
photos are great.
they are also changing the color scheme a little bit. They enhance the colors, and
Okay,
sometimes they throw
okay,
me
so
off.
they enhance a little bit. All right.
Yeah.
I think I use what is it, high contrast, maybe that setting. Um,
Well, that
um,
photo of what is it, Calocera Cornea? Is that the name?
Cornea, that
Yeah.
wasn't mine though. That was Xiang's tonight.
Yeah, the one you showed before on the log with the sterium near it.
That was Xiang's.
Oh, that was Shihang's. I'm sorry. Shihang, are you still there? What do you use to take photos?
I use cell phone.
What do
What?
you use?
Just iPhone.
iPhone?
Oh,
Oh
iPhone.
man, and that was a really nice photo.
That was beautiful. I love that mushroom.
oh
So
man.
pretty. Yeah, iPhones are good. Yeah. But this photo is not so good. But this I believe is Amanita Burnett. Oh,
Brunnescens.
Brunea. Oh my God, brunnescens. Yes. And the tails of this are the like chiseled or like star-shaped bulb, and then some kind of reddish staining. It doesn't always have the velar material remaining. Sometimes that can be washed off, but this one had a lot on the cap. The universal veil remnants. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I got here.
So it has the star foot, right? The cleft.
Yeah.
Sometimes they call it cleft foot because it has these vertical splits. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that and the brown staining. Yeah.
Brown staining. Yep.
Yeah, but these can be completely like stark white almost.
Oh, I was just
Yes.
about to, I was just about to ask that. Can these caps be kind of white with a little bit of brown in the center at
Yeah,
maturity?
it varies. It can be completely like there's a species that could be an independent species, or it could be folded into brunnescens, called Estivalis. And Estivalis is apparently like almost like, even just a hint of maybe creamy color, but white, no brown at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Rod tried to explain to me once the difference between Estivalis and the white form of brunnescens, and I think he said something like you were saying, Igor, but it just made me scratch my head, really. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
you have to read the original description by Singer, and it might be of some help. But Singer was a great mycologist, but sometimes he was maybe seeing things that were not there. I always had a good chuckle when I read about his squabbles with Merle in Florida. Oh boy, yeah, that's like sometimes comical. I mean, they were at each other's throats at times, but in a very gentlemanly way. Yeah, they disagreed on a lot of things. Both were great mycologists.
Nice.
And
Thank you, Jared.
another thing about the foot on brunnescens, um, does it always stop kind of abruptly? I'm thinking particularly of Amanita abrupta.
Yeah, it's marginate. It kind of gets flattens out and then abruptly, like there's a sharp edge and just going down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a telltale sign of brunnescens. There's like another species or two. There's Porphyria that's in the group, and maybe Soloniolens in
Yeah,
there.
a Cornelia hybrida can look like a pale brunnescence sometimes, but with the vulvas a little bit more limbate or plate-like.
Cornelia hybrida, is that one of the Meribescens?
No, that's one of the Stirpcitrina.
Oh, that's Citrina. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to go, Dave?
Okay. So yesterday I met some of our club members at a place called Moon Lake Recreation Area. It's part of the Pennsylvania State Forest System now, and it's a lot of oak woods. These oak dominated woods, and some of the woods are not, they haven't been logged for a while. This was a farm that was donated to Luzerne County about 60 years ago, and now the state has taken it over. So what we've got here is a great big bolete. There's a penny in one of the photos, I think, to show size. I don't know. Did I put a penny? Well, anyway, there it is. Yeah. So this is a really big, it's a Lanmaoa, I would say, with this really dark stain bruise on the pores. I did not take this mushroom home. I cut off a little piece. You can see the piece that was cut off there. I cut off a little piece to dry out, and the flesh also stained blue, not real dark blue, but it did stain blue. And this stripe, this really dark blue stripe, was starting to change color a little bit at the time that we all sort of parted our ways and went home. There was an odor, very, very faintly, possibly beef bouillon, but I don't think this is palitarosia. It's just, I'd say that bruising is a little bit too pronounced.
Yeah, I think I know what this might be or could be. This is that
Yeah,
new
that's
species.
why I'm showing it. I want to see what you say.
Yeah, there's a lookalike of Pallidarosia, although phylogenetically they're not closely related. It's still Lanmaoa.
Mhm.
I called it fallax, and that's the name that's going to be a published name in the
Oh,
coming
cool.
coming months. So fallax, that's why I call it fallax, is deceiving because it looks like Palydoros and it does smell like Palydoros, but only when you cut it.
Yeah,
in
it
my
wasn't real strong, but
No,
the odor
no,
was
no.
there. You
The
know,
odor
but
is
it
there,
wasn't.
but it's very similar to Palydoros, but it's not strong, and it's only can be discerned when you cut the mushroom in half. When I just smelled an intact fruiting body, I didn't smell it. That was my only experience with fallax at the Nymph in New
Uh-huh.
York from 2018.
Well, maybe we'll get another sequence to throw in with the rest of the data. I did
Right.
preserve a piece, you know, and maybe I'll probably submit this if I have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, the color of the cap in fallax is more rich and it doesn't fade away, as far as I know.
No, there was no fading on this. It was just a very, like you say, rich sort of deep red.
Yeah,
And the stripe was kind of like streaked. It's very vertically streaked with reddish.
right. I see that. Yeah, check out fallax. That's in the
Fallax.
yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, there's quite a few observations even with sequences. So it looks somewhat like, quite close to Palydoros, but not
Hmm.
not quite the same. Plus the slight odor of bullion. So
Yeah, when I
that's
first saw it, I thought Pallirosia, but then this scratch on the pores is Pallirosia. I don't think Pallirosia bruises that darkly. Maybe
yeah,
I'm
I
wrong.
can remember, the staining because like I said, I only seen the species once and most of my experiences from sequencing somebody else's collections is just looking at the photographs. But take a look on the Mo and see if it fits Fallax.
Yeah, I'll check Fallax. So, well, anyway, the guy who found it took it home to eat. He says he eats these and they're good.
Okay. I hope he doesn't get high from them. Because there's a species of Lanmaoa from Asia. It's called actually Asiatica. That is psychedelic.
Oh, huh. So these things here, when I first saw them, I thought, oh, good, some Anasabaceae. Those are always fun. But the more I looked at them, the more I thought these don't really look like anything in the Anasabaceae. And the spore print color was maybe a little bit dark brown for Anasabaceae, but the spores do not look like any kind of Anasabe or any of the related. Although Anasabaceae spores are really highly variable. But this doesn't. The more I looked at this, the more I thought this doesn't really look um, like something in Anasabaceae. So if it's possible to enlarge this photo, we see the spores are these spores look like either Hebeloma or maybe Galerina. They really remind me of Hebeloma spores, that like humpback almond shape that Hebeloma spores often have, and they're kind of big. Also, I haven't produced any estimates, but I bet you they're over 11 microns long. They're kind of wide and not symmetric, kind of humpbacked. So
Are they
I
are
don't
they
know what these are.
ornament
They might be some weird genus. I just don't know.
are they ornamented at all, like varicose?
You know, I looked at them under my better scope, and maybe like very minutely punctate, but I don't think so. Because I guess a third possibility would be
Or
Cornarius, but they don't
yeah,
really look like quartz.
no, they don't. But for some reason, I was just looking at a bunch of Corneria spores today.
Yeah,
And these spores kind of look Cornarius to me. But
yeah, these spores fit in with some of the Cornarius also. Yeah, Cornarius spores are really wildly diverse in appearance, but there are some that look like this. It's pretty interesting. So I preserve this. I don't know how the preservation is going to come out because my my commercially purchased dehydrator broke. It just stopped working.
ugh.
So
Wow.
I got a new one, but yeah, it just stopped. It was only like 2 years old.
Go
And
to that.
I mean,
Go,
I had
go
it
to
up
that
in the
last
attic and
photo.
maybe the room with, go ahead. Anyway, so yeah, I did dry these out, but in my homemade dryer where I don't really have control over the temperature. And I don't have like a fine mesh to put in there. So I had to put individual fruit bodies inside bottle caps, and I think the bottle caps got kind of hot. The material does not appear to be optimal, but I have sent things to Steve Russell in the past that looked anything but optimal, and he ended up getting data. So, we'll see.
Could
Dave,
it,
it looks like you got a low ring on these
Yeah, I
things.
see a ring. It looks like a Galerina to me. Nina's trying to say something.
could it be a foliota?
Hmm.
The foliota spores are usually pretty symmetric, and
Okay,
yeah, not really that big.
okay.
But yeah, I didn't notice a ring. Yeah, I think that might just be like it got bent or something. That one in the middle.
You see it on the one on the right too, though.
Yeah, go back to the one with all of them kind of in profile. I think you
Okay,
can pick it
yeah,
up.
maybe I just
Pick it
didn't
up on
notice that.
most of them.
Yeah.
Like, the one on the upper left, on the left, it seems to be on the upper part of the stipe, maybe.
Yeah, it looks like there's at least some spores deposited there. That particular mushroom was cold and kind of beat up and a little bit dried out.
Hmm.
That one I used to get spores. So the other ones were the ones that were dried out. Now I have found
Yeah, that's
something
cool.
like
That's a
this
cool.
before, and I forget what came of the idea. I'll have to. I haven't had a chance to do a lot of work on these yet. But there's some things I found in the past that I can compare, and maybe that'll produce a pathway to do some investigating.
It could be one of those.
Galerina was something I
weird-
thought. Hebeloma. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brandon.
No, I was just going to agree with what you said previously. It could be one of those genera that like is a small genus, right? Kind of oddball. Only
Some oddball genus, yeah. Neomentoloma or something, Anyway, so I've just labeled as bulletales, but I think they might be some sort of Neoboletus. So these were growing. There were a pretty big group of them. There was oak and pine. They were right next to the oak and the pine were really close together. They're pretty good size. They had, the pigmented, not red, but sort of brownish pore surface. And I've dried out now. They're dried out, and I haven't smelled them yet. But once that one, Igor, you might remember this. There was that one that in one of the earlier Bosset Bully books, they said that like when it's something that looks like vermiculosoides, but when it dries out, it smells like boiled urine.
Yeah, subgraviolens.
Subgraviolens. Yeah. Okay. So,
Oh, yeah, look at that.
maybe this is that.
These ones
Yeah,
I haven't smelled it though.
I am not familiar with subgraviolens, but apparently the whole genome sequence of that species, the type collection, is distinct, so it's a real species after all. I proposed the vermiculosoides on Lanmaoa. You probably didn't see the proposal.
No, I haven't seen that yet. No.
Yeah, vermiculosoides stains sort of red in the stipe quite up.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that. That's a vermiculosoides thing. And the other thing I thought was maybe vermiculosis.
Yeah, but we don't know what that thing is.
Yeah, well, whatever that means, right?
Yeah, exactly. It could be an earlier name of vermiculosoides. Who knows?
Right.
But again, the description by Peck is very distinct, even though it's short. We couldn't find anything that resembles it in the field, so it remains a cryptic species without a sequence.
Are vermiculosis and vermiculosoides both Peck species?
No, vermiculosoides is Smith and Thieris.
Okay, all right.
They couldn't find anything matching vermiculosis, I think. Or if they did,
okay.
or if they did, they basically said they said that it didn't quite match. There was some discrepancies, and it was a tentative assignment. You have to go into the book and see what they say about vermiculosis.
Yeah, I see. Okay. Well, my guess was this might be subgraveolens. What that seems like kind of a long shot because how often does anybody ever identify that species? But I have to look at the description
Yeah,
and see if it really fits.
look at the original, because I don't think the species is in any of the modern contemporary field guides. You have to go back to the source.
It's in a Bissett book.
It is in the Bissett book? Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
it's in at least one of the Bissett Bully books.
yeah, it's their interpretation, so who knows whether they're right or wrong.
Right.
But yeah, I agree. This is a Neoboletus for sure, because vermiculosoides is definitely a Neoboletus too. It's going to be transferred.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That seems pretty clear. Yep. Yeah, I didn't propose Neoboletus because I put this on INAT first. But you know what? I think they would have accepted that name, so I probably should have tried to. I was in a hurry because I was creating my observations at like 6:58, and I didn't get them done until 7:05.
Yeah, I saw them. I was on the mall
Yeah.
myself, and I saw your observations come in.
Mm-hmm. So of course this is just some blushers, but I think there might be a chance to put a name on this one. It's one of the. Now I know there's more than one possibly, but I do know there's one particular Amera rubescens species that has a distinctly yellow partial veil on the underside of the partial veil, and that this one has that. So you can't see it yet because we're just looking at caps. But here, right, if you enlarge this photo, we'll see the yellow underside of the ring. It's pretty distinctly yellow. And on the younger buttons as well, you can see that the partial veil is yellow.
Huh.
So what is that one? It starts with, I think it starts with SC or something. Or maybe AC. I forget.
Oriosubucula.
What is it?
Oriosubucula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one I was trying to think of. So maybe this is that. They're in really good condition. They were very nice. It's very nice fruiting. So I took some home and dried them out.
But it's not the only Ameribescens that has that yellow underside of to the partial veil.
I know. There's another one supposedly.
Either
that has
species
that
5
as
or
well.
species 2. I forget which one. I sequenced it, so it's on the Mo. But it's one of those Ameribescens 02 or 05 that has the same thing.
It's not 05. I know 05. Yeah, so it's probably 02.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know 05 is one of the few that I think I can identify actually by sight. Sometimes. But
this
it's
is just
it's
a
a
great
pretty
way to
distinctive.
describe what the veil is.
I'm sorry, Chris, you were saying? I'm sorry, I missed that.
This is just a great way to describe what the veil is.
Yeah.
You know, unless you cut one open and it's this neat.
Doing.
Yeah, Oriosubucula is called like a common name for it on Rod's website is a golden underskirt blusher. But obviously it's a misnomer because it's not limited to that species only, apparently.
And within, I think I can tell an Ameribescent type thing. So even within that Ameribescence group, that yellow underside of the veil is not necessarily going to give you the species. Is that what you're saying there?
Yeah, like I said, Ameribescens 02 also came in with the yellow underside of the ring. At least my collection did.
Well, when I'm able to compare what I've got here with the description, I will do that. But I think I won't be able to do that probably until we get Rod's descriptions back.
Yeah, in the meantime, look up the description in the link below if you're brave enough to go to a unsecure website.
Oh,
Section Validate, right?
It is valid.
yeah, it is a valid. Yep.
Thank you.
You
What section is brunnescens in? I'm sorry, I just.
Valid.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Yeah, most of the ones that stain brown are in valid. There are some lepidellas that also stain brown. Well, what they used to be lepidellas, now they're like rhonocensis.
Yeah, valid is distinguished by very colorful species, and they all have rings. They all have bulbs, although those bulbs don't have to be large, and they're lacking marginal striations on the cap. That's the definition of valid. Okay, so looks like I'm up.
Yes, sir.
Righto. So I'm going to start with this Neoboletus that I have a provisional name for, because in my understanding it is an undescribed species, although somebody came across this when doing type studies of Smith's collection in 1993. Matched the description pretty well, but that species remain unnamed. In the Northeast, I think we have, I would say, 7 species of Neoboletus, and you can get through to them. You can ID them to species pretty good by combination of both morphology and ecology. So there are no real mysteries. There's going to be obviously the chameleon that's going to present a challenge when you match it to or compare it with velutipes, but those two species grow in different environments, so you don't really confuse them very often. So ecology comes into play very importantly. Now this critter is very unique in the way of presenting itself. The cap color is so unusual that it's not going to be confused with anything else that you have in the genus in the Northeast. Um, Early on, it's dark brown chocolate with a tinge of olive in it, kind of greenish, and then as it matures, uh, that color sort of goes away, and it gets replaced with combination of red and yellow. Sometimes all these colors mix in, so you can see here. You can see tinges of red already in the older caps, or the ones in the middle and left, but you still have the brown and the olive, deep olive brown, dark colors in there. The stipes are yellow in the apex and mostly red, deep red, elsewhere. And it has a nice, of course, red pore surface when young. So yeah, the combination of, these traits is going to separate it from everything else that you have in the genus in the Northeast. So very distinct, very easy to ID species. And this is my favorite, mostly because it's completely unrelated to anything in North America in Neoboletus. Its closest relative actually is in Thailand. 95% similar in ITS. So again, we have this grain distribution phenomenon where we have taxa in Southeast Asia and China, phylogenetically similar to North America. We have this big disjunct in biogeography. Of course, there are distinct species. There's no overlap, but the origin of them, yeah, there's a point where in the past they came from something. The ancestor, the parent, taxa or species share the geography, and then when everything split, the continent split up. Things wound up in North America, and other things wound up in other parts of the world. So it's a very enigmatic, very colorful, very distinct species. I love it. I haven't tried it. I didn't try any Neoboletus, so probably edible, especially after you boil it first. I didn't cut it, but of course it's going to blue inside, and the flesh is going to be yellow. But when you see this thing in the woods, you cannot misidentify it. You cannot confuse it with anything else. So
Cool.
yeah,
What does that name mean?
I created this name based on my, based on the input from Google Translate when I try to translate, from English to Latin or vice versa. It means multicolored. And you have, again, a conglomerate of different colors in the cap and the stripe. It's green, it's brown, it's yellow, it's red, shade of this, shade of that, orange. It's all coming in. So it's a very flashy, very flamboyant Neobalatus. I've seen this thing before, maybe at the same collecting site, but I didn't post it on the Mo in prior years. This interesting gill mushroom was growing on the roots of a live Norway spruce. And I post this on the Mo as fungi, and Dave quickly identified this as Clitosibula lacerata sansolato. I know nothing about the species, so maybe Dave, you can say something about it.
Well, it's got the depressed cap. Often, but not always, it's very radially streaked. The gills are decurrent. Looks like this one has some cross veining, and I believe that's a feature to be expected in Clitosibula. What is it, lacerata? I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it certainly looks like what that species is supposed to look like, and the habitat sounds right. Grows on wood, but wood maybe that's still in the ground.
Yeah, but
Or
these roots were live, so I thought it was quite
Yeah.
unusual, and they were conifer roots.
Yeah, and they grow in clusters.
Yeah,
So
cespitose clusters. Yep.
yeah, so I think that's what this is. There's a
Yeah.
few other Cletosibulus species that grow in similar habitat, or maybe on logs. Cletosibula familia, I think that one grows on logs and really big fruitings. There's a couple other Cletosibula species as well. They all grow on wood.
Right. So they're either decomposers or maybe they're parasites in the case of this one, because again, this wood was very much alive.
Yeah, that could be. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a nice
small
photo.
mushrooms.
Good collection.
Yeah, they're small mushrooms, and there, there were a lot of exposed roots of that Norway spruce, and there were different clusters and different roots. This is not the only cluster that so I think there were like 4 or 5 of them.
Oh, okay. I think the last time I found this species was probably 6 years ago. I think it was growing in a similar kind of habitat, but with hardwood. But yeah, like near the roots of a tree. I think I remember that.
Right. I didn't smell it, or I didn't taste it. So it was at the end of my walk at that location. So I sort of quickly left after that. It was getting late already. So here's Byron.
Yeah, here's your friend.
Yeah, he's ready to fight your arm or hand, I should say.
He must have heard you.
Maybe saying hello. Okay. Moving on to another bolete. This collection came from Thompson Park in Monroe Township on the 19th of July, and this collection was made by Mike Haynes. He took it home to eat, and he said it was excellent. This is a very attractive, very distinct bolete that you cannot confuse with anything, and it happens to be the only representative of Tengiobalatus in North America. Again, we have the Chinese collection. The genus was described from China. It's a small genus, maybe 2-3 species in China and 1 in North America. But you get the Asia, North America connection. Reticulated yellow stipes, no staining anywhere. And if you zoom closely into the pore surface, just like in Boletus sensu stricto, you will see a cover of a blanket of Callistosporium covering the pore surface. Again, this is a non-plesiomorphic trait that is present in a number of genera of Boletaceae. It's very rare, but it's the trademark of Boletus sensu stricto, but apparently it's also present in Tangia boletus. So, like many other features that you see in Boletaceae, it evolved multiple times independently. But
So does
Tangia
this
boletus,
wear off?
what's that?
Or does this wear off?
Yes. So the pore surface is yellow, but the cover is white.
Igor, how certain are you of the generic placement here?
100% certain.
Because I know I read some sort of rebuttal arguments on MO, and I did look at some blasts of maybe one or two of your sequences.
It has to be tough.
And,
ITS is of no value, I think, just because
I think one of them might have been tough.
Well, I made a tree, so it's in the. It
Okay.
should be there, and if you read the description of Tangia boletus, I mean, if there is a rebuttal, I would like to see, who wrote it and what they say about.
It might have been Terry and Donna. I'm not sure. But there was an argument put forth on MO. I forget what which observation. So the last time I found this, which is not very often, and I didn't find it, one of our club members found it at Moon Lake in oak dominated woods. I posted it as boletus, and Tengio boletus could be. So, but maybe I'll change that. I mean, you sound pretty certain here.
Yeah, it's the same
you've
species.
done the
we're
work.
talking about.
You did the work on it.
Yeah, we're talking about Oripes.
RPs, right? Yeah, RPs. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But it's clearly not a boletus. So.
Oh God, no, it's not. Well, there's so many things. There's still a lot of things that are, if you look in field guides, they're going to be called boletus. But viewed through a modern lens, it's kind of ridiculous, actually. Some of the things that are still called like boletus miniato olivaceus, right? And that's just kind of ridiculous. But we don't know where to put that one yet, so it stays. But okay, but so nice. Yeah, you got a new genus for this. Good.
Yeah, I got this a while back, and I have to dig out my. Actually, I did find it. Yeah, I have what? I have LSU, and I have TEF1, and it's TEF1 places this square in the middle of Tangia boletus. So
I see. Right.
I am
Yeah,
pretty certain. I'm pretty certain of the identification of the generic placement.
Yeah, I would not have a way of arguing against that particular point. So, I mean, you do the work on these things, So I think we should respect.
Yeah, if it's not Tangia boletus, then it's a genus that's basically a sister to it. That's the only other.
Right. Yeah, that would be the only. That was the only thing that occurred to me was that the Tengio boletus was coming up, in the blasts, but it was like, well, okay, that looks like pretty good support. It was like maybe 90 or something, I forget, but it was like the best thing there was, really, except for just like bolitalis, somebody, put something on GenBank and just said it was a bully,
Yeah, I mean, I have to reblast it because I haven't done this in a while. Ever since I basically proposed Tangia boletus, for me it was a closed case. And
right? Yeah. You need to do these blasts every once in a while because more stuff ends up on GenBank.
Yeah, and I do, for some things that I couldn't find an answer to, but for me it was a closed chapter. So
right. No, I hear you. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But although as you did say though, if maybe there's some other But you know what? Even if there's another genus out there that's a sister genus, the pathway to that sort of taxonomy would probably run through Tengiobolides anyway. You know, as historically speaking, you know, as time passes.
Right. I see that TEF1 gives 97% similarity to Tengiobolides from China. And
Oh,
then it drops,
that's pretty darn good.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then it drops to 88% with Tilapilus, which is from the same subfamily. It's
Oh,
Boletoideae.
okay.
Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah,
those are kind of related to Tilapilus. That's kind of funny.
well, I mean, it's Boletus, Tilapilus, Xanthoconium. They're all in Boletoideae. So
Okay. Okay.
it
Okay.
doesn't tell you how close they are, but they're in the same larger, cluster of genera. You
Right.
know how Boletaceae is broken down to 7 subfamilies.
Right.
So Boletoideae is just one of them.
Okay. I see. I got it. Thank
Right.
you.
But again, morphologically, you cannot confuse this with anything else. Remotely resembles Retiboletus or
Yeah, I
Natipes.
was going to say Retibolides or
Yeah.
Natipes, a young one where the stalk is not really coarsely reticulate, you know, and the shape hasn't really expanded.
Right. But
Yeah, you can. I did that once. I made that mistake once years
right.
back.
But often enough, Oreoboletus, Tengiboletus oripes will have very dark brown caps like you see here, and it's going to have the color cystidia on the pore surface, which Retiboletus doesn't have. So that way
You need a young one for that, though. That's the thing, though.
correct, but even in older, you'll see remnants of that colorful
Oh,
veil.
oh, so that might be something you can scope and really nail.
Yeah, so it's a great edible. It's sweet. It has a nice nutty flavor, and yeah, in age it's going to have a yellow cap. It
Yeah,
often changes to yellow, so there is some resemblance to or Natipes, but again,
yeah,
you can still separate those two species.
I agree, and it is a good edible, and because the flesh is so dense, it's like a challenge even for the bugs to get into it.
Okay, this collection also came from Thompson Park, from our foray there, and we found that species there before, and I couldn't pull out the name, but I knew I saw it there, so I went to MO and I fished it out from there. So this is Voxifluus luteolus, and my experience with the species is limited, but I can now identify it. It has a creamy, wrinkly cap that darkens, it stains more brown. It has a copious white milk that changes the gill color to dark brown, as you can see here. And I haven't tasted these or smelled these, but to me, that species is very unique looking. And there's nothing else in Lactarius that looks quite like it. This pretty much matches other observations by Dave and other people on Mushroom Observer. So I'm pretty sure that's what this is. I didn't save this collection, so we will not be sequencing it, but maybe we'll sequence it, at the next opportunity when we find these again.
Yeah, the creamy white color. The spacing on the gills seems to be somewhat variable for this species.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the brown staining, the white copious white milk, like Volemus kind of. You get as much milk as you get out of Volemus. Sometimes it smells fishy, but not always. It grows on my property. That's why I know this species really well.
Yeah, I
Actually,
saw your records of it from
it's
your
actually
property.
2 steps off my property. It's like I have to go like 2 steps onto the neighbor's property. It seems, in my case, it seems to be associating with hickory.
Yeah, I don't know who collected this, but the woods at Thompson Park are mixed hardwoods. There's a lot of beech in there, oak, and maybe even some hickory.
Yeah, there's a bunch of hickory.
Yeah, it's been a while since I forayed at Thompson. I just go to the ID sessions.
Yeah, I see it almost every year in the same spot.
Have you tried eating these things?
Long time ago. But I don't eat these white latex milkies anymore. A long time ago, I ate like too many of them one summer when I was a poor, struggling graduate student taking part-time work. Um, and and I was eating a lot of mushrooms, and I ate like lots and lots and lots of Volimus and Corrigus and Hygrophor, what is it?
Hygrophoroides.
Hygrophoroides, yeah, and this one too, one summer, and I like developed a sensitivity to them, and then a Russian friend of mine told me, he said, "Don't eat for a few years, then try," so I did that, and I found that the sensitivity apparently had gone away. But recently, I had a tooth pulled, and I was on antibiotics, which the antibiotics sort of compromise your GI to because the drug just makes it hard to digest certain things. And I ate some hygrophoroides and twice, and I did it twice just to make sure, that it wasn't just an anomaly. And I got a stomach ache both times. So there's too many. I don't know. What did McIlvaine say? Something about um, um, Gyromitra esculenta, I think he was talking about when he said, in this great food giving country of ours, one is likely to never be left with the only option of eating this, right? So I sort of look at it like that, right? I don't need to eat these anymore. But I did a long time ago, and it was good. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I have to see what the Bissets say about the edibility of the species in their book.
I thought it was good. A long time ago, I ate it. I thought it was good.
Okay. And the last one on the list also came from Thompson. I'm pretty sure it came from Thompson, not Helmeta, because I recalled seeing something like this at that foray a couple of years ago, and that was collected at Thompson. So this is a a bona fide Tilapia species. It's not really a remarkable species. Actually, it's very dark brown. That's the only thing about it, that the caps are very dark. And mind you, these pictures were taken 2 days after the bullets were collected, and they spent 2 days in my fridge in a wax paper bag. And you can still see that the pore surface in many places is white. So they haven't suffered, much from being desiccated or, rotting in the fridge. That's, they you can see the decay touched, them a little bit in the caps maybe, but for the most part, they preserve pretty well at cold temperatures in the bag. So, like I said, we've seen these things before. They like to grow in the cespitose fashion. They're slightly reticulate at the top. They have brown stipes that stain darker brown, and they have white pore surfaces with wide, irregular pore shapes that also stain brown. The most remarkable thing about this species, or at least this collection of this species, is that it had a horrendous smell. It was reminding me of like this overpowering, pungent, like pickle brine solution mixed in with some tobacco scent, like an ashtray. It was really, really overwhelming and disgusting.
Well, you know what, Igor? I was going to ask if you thought it might be Atronicotanus.
No, I don't think so.
But
Doesn't look like.
that has weird smells,
Yeah, well, I saved this collection, so God willing, it's going to get sequenced. If not Nanopore, maybe I'll give it to Linus or to somebody else who does Sanger, because I'm sort of getting fed up with Nanopore. It's just giving too many failures still, especially with Tilapilis. I mean, I think I submitted over 10 collections of Tilapilis, and only one of them gave a sequence. It was Bavui. The
you know
rest
what? I'm
failed.
going to have to check. You know what? I'm going to later on tonight. I'm going to go through all my Tilapilis on MO and see if any of that stuff was sequenced by Steve.
Right. There's a species that I collected elsewhere in broadleaf woods that also grew in cespitous cluster. That environment has since been destroyed by construction and storms, but it's on MO, and that collection was identified by me as Appalachiensis, tentatively. but that mushroom looks a little bit different than this. It's not as brown, and it doesn't reek. Does have the same disgusting smell, although the taste is bitter. These also tasted bitter, but there was also some astringent component to that and oily. The taste was pretty disgusting too, and not because they were rotten, because I took a nice chunk from the middle of the cap, so it was nice and fresh. It wasn't from the outside of the cap, not on the fringe, and it was just it was terrible.
It was from the fresh part of the rotten mushroom.
Well, they were not rotten. I mean, they were eaten inside by the larvae, but the larvae ate them in a very interesting way. There were cavities inside. They were not like larval tunnels, so like chunks of flesh missing. Like in gyropores, you get these cavities. So the bugs ate the cavity inside the stipes. So I threw them out, but I kept the caps. The caps were completely intact. Yeah. Remarkable collection in some ways. I'm pretty sure it's an undescribed species. I bet you $20 it is. So we'll see what happens. I'm hopeful. And I give if you click on that link, 525, 827 from 2 years ago, you'll see that it's the same species. I think it's the same. Looks the same to me. Cespitose, staining dark brown, reticulate at the top. Bitter tasting. I didn't say anything about the smell. To me, it looks the same, roughly. Yeah, I didn't save that collection though. Not from 2023. I chucked it. Yeah, so that's it for me. If you have any comments on this Telopolis, other than that, what has been said by myself and Dave, please do comment if you've seen anything similar looking in the woods. Seems to me, for the time being, it's restricted to Thompson. We haven't seen it anywhere else.
Can we go through the pictures one more time real quick?
Yeah, let me.
Yeah, cespitose growth. Disgusting taste and odor. Dark brown caps. And the lighter colored stipes staining darker brown. White apex, reticulate, maybe a centimeter.
Or did you want the ones before that?
Yeah, we can go one before. Yeah, if you can zoom in, click on that icon and sort of maybe there's a way to click on that magnifying lens in the upper right. And that's gonna, yeah, okay, here we go. And
oh wow.
Yeah, you see how irregular those tubes are? They're sort of compound and they are elongated.
Yeah, like you wouldn't call that boletinoid, right? But
yeah, I
kind
would
of?
call it more like a xericomoid pore surface, if anything.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Telopolis is a very interesting genus, phylogenetically. It's a large genus too. I mean, there's probably like, globally maybe 40 or 100 species of these things, maybe even more. 40 or 50 from the USA. And when you look at the phylogenetic trees built in some seminal papers from 7-10 years ago, they have a very complex structure. The trees are. There are many clades within Telopolis, so it's not a very homogeneous genus. Has very complicated history.
These wouldn't jump out as Tylopolis to me. And kind of to clarify, the brown part that's of the pore surface that's been handled, so that's
right.
But in situ, these would be white off white.
White off white, yeah.
And the stem, is that going to be dark brown and cap as well, or is that from handling also?
I think the caps would be darker than the stem, so it's kind of not easy to say whether they darken upon handling. But I recall when I found them at the ID table, they were about just as dark as the caps. Maybe slightly, less dark, but yeah, they were certainly like medium brown.
Yeah,
And
cool.
a lighter apex and kind of reticulate, there maybe like
That
half an inch to maybe a third of an inch.
Yeah, because there was one photo that showed the reticulation, and so you're saying that is not uniform across the entire stipe. It just kind of is at the apex.
Yeah, right. Maybe if you zoom in here, you can see it better. Maybe a different angle. Yeah, helps. Yeah, it seems like there's reticulate and it's sort of broken and at different lengths. It's not like uniformly like, it doesn't end abruptly uniformly everywhere. It's sort of really more streaky
Yeah.
on this side and less so on the other side.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting critter. Otherwise it's just a boring brown Talopolis, but there's something about the species that makes it attractive. I mean, not pleasing to the eye, but interesting, conceptually.
Can I ask what did you name the other species, the first one that had the red pores and the dark cap, but it kind of had different colors and
Oh, the Neoboletus varietatibus. I can put the name into the chat if you want to.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's also an MO. Lots of collections. It's a very common species. Between that one and the chameleon, those are the most two common species in the Northeast.
Oh, okay, I can see it right here.
I don't think you would find that species in Wisconsin or Michigan.
Okay.
But it grows
Yeah.
farther south into North Carolina, Virginia, North Carolina, and as far north as maybe Connecticut or Massachusetts.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I put this in the chat correctly spelled. Yeah, there you go.
Nice. Does anybody else have anything they want to share? No.
Lila, you have anything?
I probably do, but I'm not organized with any of it tonight.
What about Lauren?
And John and Nina, maybe they want to comment on their collections that they send us pictures of.
Isn't it kind of late?
Nina, want to say something about a polypore?
Oh yeah, don't know what it is. Yeah.
You don't think this is Lactinia, Trametes Lactinia?
One side, one of them was Lactinia, yeah. But the other one, I don't know what that other thing is.
The guild mushroom, right?
Dried out one.
Let's see, there was that polypore, yeah. Which one? I don't see any mushrooms.
Oh, am I not?
Yeah, Chris, if you can go back to Nina's email.
I did 3. Okay, there's that dried up whole thing. I thought it was a caespitosa, but
Yeah, that
know.
we had an argument about. I thought it was more closely related to something like gymnopus.
Yeah.
And you thought it was more like phytocybe.
Yeah, I don't know if Dave had any ideas about that.
That's impossible to say anything reasonable about this, really.
It was growing on the leaf litter. You could see the leaves, and
yeah, so it could be cladocybe, could be gymnopus.
Okay.
Calibioid mushrooms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next one. There was another. I said a bunch. Yeah, that one. Okay, there's 2 of those. Okay, that one, the one the cap is like tinea, but the other one, I don't know what it is. It's the next picture there. See?
It's got a little bit of a foot, right? Is that what we're seeing?
No, that's the lactinia. There's two different ones.
So wait a second. The
Oh,
so the Lactinia is the one that's inverted, and the one on the
Yeah.
left is a different thing.
Yeah, that's the thing they called, the one on the left, they called, he was calling a hirsuta.
A what?
A hirsuta, remember? Tramedes hirsuta, but I don't think it is.
Hirsuta, but aren't those small?
Yeah, it doesn't seem very hairy. But I was confused because of the white. There's really not much white around the edge.
But how big was this? Like what, 5 inches?
How big was that? Is that? Yeah, it's about not quite that big, about 4 inches. Yeah.
4 inches. Well, it's quite sizable.
Are
Yeah.
these not both Lactinia?
No, well, I don't know. You got the other one for sure. The one upside down is a Lactinia. But the one with the cap, I don't know. Maybe it is.
And you don't have the underside picture of the one on the left.
The next one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's the same two. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
inverted the one on the left. Now it's facing
Right,
okay with
right.
the with the
Can we
pores up.
Can we zoom in on those pores?
Yes, yes, please.
About as good as it gets there.
I think they're both Lactinia. That would be my
Oh, okay.
assessment.
Okay.
But
It seems to me that this was like cut off with a knife because you got a flat, a cross section, like it had some kind of a stumpy stipe, and it was basically like sheared off from the wood with a knife.
Right.
So Lactinia, yeah.
Okay, so they're both Lactinia. Okay.
and maybe I when I see Lactinia fresh, they're very dark. So I think the one on the left is just kind of younger, and then
Okay.
Well, it's probably too late to zoom in into that image. Can we just zoom in and see like the texture of the cap? I mean, is this consistent with Lactinia?
yeah, Night Hunter. Yeah, when they're fresh, they have a little bit of hirsute would be the wrong pubescent maybe.
But you can see the hairs, like clusters of hairs somewhere in the cap. Like, I can see like a little patch, maybe around 11 o'clock in the middle, like one of those medium colored bands. Yeah, like slightly up. No,
like right
yeah,
at the
here,
edge.
right, yeah, right there. Yeah, you can see like the hairs there.
it looks really bumpy, like a lot of little bumps.
Yes, it's raised. It's very textured. It almost looked like an organized gibbosa.
Yeah, it's more bumpy than hairy to me.
But it does have hairs.
Mm.
No, I thought that Hirsute was like a much smaller in size for some reason. I didn't think they were like 4 inches across.
I
Or
think
maybe
that's
they just
accurate.
vary.
I get here. I've been observing hirsuta on some cut wood that I have in a pile on my property, and I'm trying to think if they get this big, but I think they get a little bigger than you're thinking. Let me you know what? Let me find my hirsuta observation. I'll put it in the chat.
And since I'm the one kind of rallying for Lactinia here, I will say the edges don't look very Lactinia to me. Lactinia normally has very rounded edges, and these do look a little bit sharper than rounded. Is that accurate for those that handled this thing?
By rounded, you mean like a lip that thicker?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Because here, in both pictures, it seems like the cap of the edge is like not razor thin, but it's like sharp.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just trying to poke holes in my own identification here, but that does appear to be the case. Kind of sharp, thin at the margin, not thick.
Nina, did you save any of these things?
Yep.
Okay, so maybe we'll submit them for DNA.
I thought they didn't take polypores.
I don't know. I think I've seen some sequences of polypores, maybe from the Ohio mushroom lab. Maybe Steve doesn't take them, but maybe Ohio does.
Oh, okay. I have them.
I've had polypores done by Steve, or Ohio. I'm not sure, one or the other. But I've had some polypores done by nanopore.
Oh yeah, that's that Hygrocybe caespitosis that
Right.
Nicole put a name to.
Yeah, I sent like my pictures of that thing to Taxonomy Tuesday, but they show a little bit of the gill surface,
Right.
but not quite much. So I think it's a pretty good ID.
Okay. Yeah. I'm
based
afraid I
on
probably
this.
got repeats. Yeah.
Yeah, someone described the gills as decurrent.
Uh-huh.
So that would fit that species. In addition to other observable traits in that one photo.
Okay, Hydnum, what did I,
Rufescens?
maybe? They call it, yeah.
Who knows?
Dark color, yeah. I
You've
say
got-
that one.
You've got to do at least microscopy to try to wade through the 16 species, and yeah, we can.
Yeah, I think that's one that stains brown or reddish brown.
No, I didn't see any staining. Huh.
Well, I'm sorry, what did it stain?
I didn't see any staining.
Okay, yeah, well, I'm just saying I think that's one of the traits associated with rufescens,
Okay.
right? Let me check. I'll check. Oh, I found my hirsuta observation, but I didn't record size. But it looked like about 3 inches wide. But it was quite hairy too. My hirsuta that I photographed on my property 2 months ago. Anyway, let me look up this rufescens thing. See what they say on Mycoclebecks.
And that's the cap. There was like a bit of circles on the cap of oh, what do you call it? It wasn't real. Yeah, you can't really see it on that.
Zone 8?
Yeah, a little bit of zone 8. Sorry. I'm tired.
Yeah, you could get that out on the edges here.
That seemed kind of early for a Hydnum.
Yep. Usually we see them, like in September. And
Oh, I see these orange ones early. These bigger orange and the little orange ones, the umbilicatum, I see those early also. The big white ones, the big beige ones, I think Subolympia something.
Subolympicus, which is common apparently in New Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah, that one I usually don't see until the end of August. Usually in beech woods.
But we found them in the Pine Barrens. We have a sequence collection of Subolympicum.
Oh, you do? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and they can be like 5 inches across.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen them 8 inches across.
Holy cow!
Yeah, really. I think I have some MO observations for those. At least I think that's what they are. At least, yeah. But Mycoclebecks doesn't have what is it? Rufescens? Hydnum. They don't have that one. Let's see. Let me check Mushroom Expert.
It could be rufescens or subrufescens.
Oh! Let me check Mycoclebecks again. You're right. They might be just using the name subrufescens. Yeah, let's see. I didn't go all the way down to S.
Yeah, so here's my picture of that caespitosa, and you can see like in that third mushroom on the or second mushroom on the right, the gills are yellowish, and they're decurrent. It's not a very good picture, but
No, that's what they look like though, like a Cuphlophilus almost.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that's it. That's now that I see that. Yeah.
Okay.
So the scaly caps, the shape, and the decurrent gills, and it's a wax cap.
Yeah.
So yeah, those and it grows like in these clusters. Right. Yeah, sure. Yep.
Yeah.
The first time I found this
Yeah.
species was not that long ago. It was at Sequinotophora, and Jacob Kalishman was there. He knew what they were. I
Ah.
thought they were Cuphophyllus. I brought them in and said, "Look at these Cuphophyllus," and he knew what they were. Anyway, let me look at for the rufescens, subrufescens. It looks like Quebec doesn't have either of those, but I'm going to look around.
So what did we call that? Hygrocybe caespitosa?
Hygrocybe caespitosa, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the species before.
Nicole was the one who named it.
And it's certainly an unusual looking Hygrocybe.
Yeah, with that textured cap like that. Wow.
Yeah, and the widely spaced decurrent gills.
Yeah,
That's what threw me when I first found it. I thought it was Cuphophyllus.
When we saw that first picture, I asked if it was on the ground or on wood because I thought it might have been like a trichomopsis or something.
Like Trichomopsis formosa.
Yeah,
That's very similar.
The gills would rule those out.
Yeah, but the caps are very scaly, and the colors are different too. They're more red or reddish brown.
Or Decarosa, perhaps, but that's more hairy. Yeah, you're right. But it wasn't a great photo at first, so I was surprised. Cool mushroom.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we found a number of interesting collections there that seem to be kind of, oddball species. There was a Neoboletus there that I thought, it was the chameleon, but there was something about it that well, I mean, what else can it be? Unless it's something new that I haven't seen before. I didn't photograph it, didn't save it, so I just left it there. But we had that unusual Amanita from section of Phalloidea, the one that doesn't have the amatoxins, because it's like a separate subclade at the base of the section. The Sinapivolva with a prominent bulb, but no limbs. So it doesn't have the limbate vulva. It just has a large bulb with some mustard-colored deposits of the universal veil, hence the name Sinapivolva. What else do we have there that was unusual? There was some interesting boletes. I think it was some Xerocomus that I thought was Illudens or maybe something else. Overall, it was a very nice foray. I didn't expect to see such a variety of mushrooms. I think, we probably would get easily over 100 species there too, just like for the previous two forays.
124. 124.
124. Wow. And those are the only ones we could put a name to.
Yeah.
That's great. That's cool. Nice. It's just a little too far. I wish it could have been there.
Yeah, an array of Russulas as usual. 22 species of boletes, I think. All in all.
And there's a weird moth that I had a picture of it.
Yeah, the parasite that killed the moth.
Right.
Right. Maybe we can talk about this at the next
Okay.
taxonomy if we don't have time right now.
Nice. Maybe I should.
Yeah, I mean, great experience. If you want to learn certain group of fungi, like boletes and amanitas, that's, so far all those forays that we went to, Meadowwoods, Thompson Helmetta, and Horseshoe Bend, they didn't disappoint.
Well, it's adequate rain. I don't